What's up, guys? Welcome to the Shacknews Twitch channel. Today is June the 23rd. We got a very special stream going on, as presented by our wonderful employees TJ Denzer and Ozzy Mejia. What's up, guys?
Yo, what up? Welcome, everybody to another Shacknews live stream. Today we
Thanks for tuning in.
We are chatting with Stonewheat and Sons technical artist Grant Gessel and animator Joel Davis to talk about their upcoming co-op mailroom delivery KeyWe game titled KeyWe. How's it going, y'all?
Hey,
Good.
Pretty
Thanks
good.
for having us.
This is maybe one of the most adorable games I've seen in a long time. It's charming.
Thank you.
The premise is interesting. What is this? How did it come to be?
Good.
Is a cooperative postal platformer about two Kiwi birds named Jeff and Deborah who work at a post office. They're new hires, and everything in the post office is designed for much bigger hands. So they have to kind of make their way across a landscape of levers and bells and buttons to get the messages delivered on time.
Yeah.
And why Kiwis in particular? What was the decision like as to like what the characters you have played to like make this whole like mailroom experience happen?
So we came up with the idea for KeyWe during a game jam in Orlando at the beginning, I think it was 2018. So the theme we had 48 hours to make a game, our 3-person team. And the theme of the game jam was transmission. So we had to interpret the word transmission and make a game about that. And we drew a random like modifier that said that our game had to include a bird protagonist. So we sat down and tried to figure out what we were doing. And someone sketched a picture of a Kiwi bird wearing a headset. We liked the idea of post birds who couldn't fly, so they worked a desk job instead.
And the pun was created.
Yeah.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, we envisioned them as like the left and right hands, basically typing on a keyboard was kind of the first level that we prototyped. And yeah, Grant was like, KeyWe.
KeyWe. There's two.
How did that prototype evolve from there? Like I remember playing that demo at PAX and just being amazed at like all the moving parts. So how did you get from the prototype to kind of where the Steam demo that just released over the weekend is today?
Well, it's been a long kind of road from there. From the game jam, we were actually working on another project at the time, and we sort of like took a look at where we were as like a studio and realized that we had to kind of like scope down our project. And so we had KeyWe that we had developed and was just kind of like sitting on the shelf. And we were like, what if we took this and like tried to turn it into more of a full like product? So
yeah, we kind of like took the premise of them working together on a workstation. You know, the prototype was just the typing. You know, you're typing telegraphs and hitting the keys with your butt. So we took it to its logical conclusion, which is this is clearly a post office that employs animals. What do the other rooms of the post office look like? What other tasks would they perform? And
yeah,
once we had a nugget of like the setting of you know this place called Bungalow Basin where the animals can have human jobs and stuff like that, and built around that idea.
It's a lot of like expanding the post office and coming up with new rooms and new jobs and like new stuff for them to do. So it's much more than just typing now, but
yeah.
And like there's a lot of this stuff that like, you know, if you think about what modern times, there's a lot of things that are streamlined, like digital or like touch screens, all that jazz. This game features a lot of like, I gotta say, satisfying looking analog interfaces, like the bell, the tapper bell, the like plushy looking buttons, the typewriters, the switches, all of it just like looks satisfying to interact with in a way that like
It's like the old timey pulleys and levers and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely like that sort of anachronistic, like as far as what time period this is set in, we can kind of pull from whatever piece of technology we think would be most fun to interact with and kind of fit. Grant, as our 3D artist, is like doing all these very cozy like wood and brass constructions that feel good to interact with as the KeyWe.
Yeah, it's a lot of like.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a lot of like sort of adventure-y themed aesthetics. Like we wanted everything to be kind of like warm and kind of antique looking and fun and moving and jostling, and it's like a fun, kooky post office world.
Mm-hmm. I feel like ASMR is like a thing here where like you don't get the same experience out of like a touch screen or like a sort of thing like that whereas you would out of like these very thick sort of tappy buttons.
I think as far as like incorporating the sound design with the feedback here, we wanted to create a sort of like visual and like sound landscape that was very busy with lots of clicking and whirring and bells going off to get that bustling post office atmosphere.
And you mentioned like this is a environment in which there are multiple animals that like just like do human jobs. I think in one of the screenshots I saw an emu somewhere.
Cassowary.
And so like how did you
every day?
yeah, for sure. And so how did you like build this environment around the first two birds? Like how did you decide like what you wanted to include, what you wanted to incorporate beyond just like the KeyWes that you play as in this interesting mailroom?
I would say in general with the we wanted to give ourselves as much freedom as possible to create a sort of it's a fictional sort of part of the world that they're in where we can pull animals from around the world and also not necessarily be tied to one particular biome or set of weather conditions. If we want to, you can see out of the window, it's pretty lush and green right now during the summer, but as the game goes on, if we want to throw sandstorms or blizzards at the KeyWe to make them have to deal with that, we can do that because Bungalow Basin is whatever we want it to be.
And is it entirely a co-op experience? Can this be played in single player in any way?
Yeah, it is primarily a co-op experience, but you can play it in single player with single player control schemes that we've been kind of experimenting with. So there's a method that you can actually control both of the KeyWes on one controller with like one KeyWe on each analog stick. And that's actually how we test the game when we're developing it. It's a little bit harder to like, get into the same location these days and like play test. So it's a little different of an experience, but it's still fun. And we think it can help some people that want to play the game and don't necessarily have someone at the moment to play with. It is still primarily a co-op game, and I think that's probably the best experience. You and like a special person kind of experiencing Bungalow Basin together, but you can play it by yourself if you want to.
I think one of my favorite trends in indie games recently has been like the 4-player co-op game. I'm thinking something like Overcooked or something like Moving Out. This is uniquely set for 2 players. So what made you guys want to make this just a 2-player co-op game as opposed to something for up to 4 people?
The initial prototype that we made was a much simpler version of the what you're seeing now, which is the KeyWe's typing. We liked the idea of it. Basically, if a human was working at this workstation, they'd be using their hands to do a job, and the KeyWes with the typing are functioning as like the left and right hands. When we were developing, we liked the idea of just having a coworker dynamic between the 2 KeyWes. And once we came up with the names for them, like Jeff and Deborah, they felt like they, the 2 little ones acting as what's the right word? Like they are a stand-in for a single, much larger postal worker. Instead of necessarily the 4-player, like totally, party game vibe, we wanted to focus a little bit more on 2 people sitting either side by side on the couch or online, focusing on talking to each other, delegating I'll do this, you do that kind of thing.
Yeah, it lets us get like a little bit more of like kind of a intimate experience as opposed to like a chaotic, crazy like shouting fest. But maybe there'll be a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, not as relationship destroying as certain other super party games. We're going for a little bit more chill with KeyWe.
Seeing some of the skins, some of the faceware, like all the cool little cosmetics that you got there. What are some ideas that you're floating around in terms of like cosmetic attire?
Oh, we have a lot of fun hats. I think
Not just hats.
Not just hats. There's also backpacks and weird helmet things and
One of the
feather color schemes.
Yeah, one of the things that's cool is coming up with the different skins for the kiwis, so you can change their plumage, and we are drawing inspiration from other bird species. So one of the things you can see in the wardrobe in this footage is we have a skin where you can make a kiwi look like a puffin, the black and white fur and the orange beak. Looking at all kinds of different tropical birds and things that have cool patterns.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love me a puzzle game. I really do. And like looking at this in action, it just looks like a fun experience as to how everything fits together. I do want to ask, like, when you're approaching the design to like a level or a process, do you think of like the puzzle mechanic that you would want it to be, or do you think about like the world and how like a puzzle that you want to come up with would fit into that?
I'd say a little bit of both, right, Grant?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of the time we start with kind of like a little granule of an idea of what if they were typing on a big typewriter, or like what if they were sending mail, or there's kind of like an idea that's like the genesis of the level, and then we try to like kind of build things around it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But other times, you know, if we want to have like a level that forces you to be more like multitasking or more of a specific type of cooperative interaction or something, that happens too. So it kind of varies. I think the thematics are a big part of it, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think for us, yeah, it's usually like, what if there's got to be a room where like they're handling like packages, right? Like crates and packages. How would the kiwis move those? Those are much bigger than they are. And then we start to think of, oh, okay, well, they must have this mechanism or that mechanism, or maybe some other animal that's helping them. Then other times there might be a mechanic that we discover that's like, oh, this is really fun. What could we build that would give them the opportunity to do this more?
It does look like some fun liberties are taken, because like toaster oven, probably not mailroom standard equipment, but there it is, and you can use it.
Post toaster. Yeah, that is the post toaster. So that will automatically package your message into an envelope. It's handy when you don't have thumbs. Yes, up on the post toaster and.
There's an analog audio tape player, like the audio cassette player. Like, we don't see that anymore.
It's like a reel player or something.
Yeah, you take the reel, you put it in the stereo, and then that will play the audio message, which you then convert into ransom note style with the little bits on the paper. It's an unconventional post office for sure.
I didn't even think of the ransom note angle. Like, I can imagine like the kinds of notes you're sending, and who are these letters even going to? You know?
Yeah, probably best you not think that hard about it. Particularly not the ransom.
Don't think about the greater lore. Gotcha.
The animal kingdom can be a scary place.
I got a question, if you guys don't mind. Are
Go
you ever
for it.
concerned that the birds get overworked, they're tired of doing this nonstop and attempt to unionize?
There's only two of them. How unionized can they? No, I'm just kidding.
I apologize.
I'm very excited to progress through the different ranks of the telepost. You know, telepostographer is a very prestigious job in Bungalow Basin. So
they'll get to do. They're not always entirely working on mail. There will be other times in the game when they're doing some R&R, some team building stuff with the other members of the telepost.
Are there going to be smoke breaks?
Well, there is a lot of fun other stuff that they're doing, like playing music, maybe, or.
That's good. KeyWe shouldn't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask, like, the interface on this looks like it's built up for a controller interface. Like, was there ever like is this coming currently only to Steam, or is it coming to other platforms as well?
No, I know it's coming to Xbox for sure because I remember you guys were hanging out at the ID at Xbox over at PAX.
Yeah, so
But-
we've only announced KeyWe for PC at the moment, although we are always looking at other ways to get KeyWe to people. So that right now, on PC, you can play with a controller or keyboard. So that interface will change depending on whether or not you have a controller. If you're just playing on keyboard, all those little prompts that say X and Y, those will have the keyboard prompts.
And what has the challenge been behind building a co-op game that can work off of those interfaces, like switching between whether one person has gamepad, one person has keyboard, or both have one or the other?
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. I think we've definitely tried to make sure that the control schemes are, on either mode comfortable and as good as we can get it. I definitely think that we would like you to play with the controller, but the keyboard is doable as well, and it's good in its own way, in a different way, a more cold and technical way, more precise, but
two people can sit side by side with each of them having a hand on the keyboard and play.
That's very intimate.
You guys gotten feedback from any of the Steam users that have tried the demo?
Yeah,
a little bit.
So the Steam Festival has coincided with us like coming up on a big deadline for a big amount of content that we're working on. So yeah, as we can, we're watching streams and stuff. It's been awesome to hear people's responses.
Yeah, it's been great.
Playing on controller from what I've seen, but
we're constantly trying to like improve that as well. Like,
And there is a question in the chat. Like you mentioned, we were talking a little bit about cosmetics before and the designs in which maybe you could go for a puffin or something. Have you ever considered playing with a skin in which you play on like KeyWe as a fruit as opposed to KeyWe as a bird?
That's pretty awesome.
That's one of the classic internet pictures. If you search for kiwis, is a bunch of kiwi birds that are sliced open with fruit inside of them. But we don't want to do that to our kiwi birds. So
I see with this.
It's hard to tell that they were fruits.
The kiwi is already round and covered in short brown fur, like a kiwi fruit. The only thing you would know is if you were to take a look inside. And I don't have any plans for that at the moment. That is a really fun idea.
Maybe there are fruits right now. You wouldn't know.
That's true.
I do want to say I love that story of how you guys decided on kiwi birds, just because this is a game that could work with like literally any other kind of bird. But I don't know. It's something about just seeing kiwis that just makes it a lot more appealing for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the way they're shaped. I don't know if it's their little beaks, but like I feel like this doesn't work as well if it's not a kiwi bird.
Kiwi birds are very special. Very special creatures.
They are. We're big fans. I mean, it was I think fitting to us that they can't fly. In fact, their wings are so small they're basically non-existent. So other birds could do this job, but
like it doesn't work if it's like two characters.
Like Jeff and Deborah can do it. Yeah, I mean those guys are probably out flying around delivering mail. Someone's got to work the dispatch table. Someone's got to work the front desk and the shipping floor.
I do want to ask, the game is currently set for a 2021 launch window on Steam right now. What are launch plans looking like? Do you intend to take this to early access? Do you intend to go into any beta phases?
Nothing really concrete to announce on that other than 2021. That's when the game will be coming out. We will hopefully have more information to announce about anything as far as like an early access in the future.
This is our first game, so there's a lot of this process that's kind of new to us, and we're kind of like learning as we're going, and we're always looking for like new ways to try to engage with people better, and maybe there will be a opportunity for like a beta or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure.
And we talked a little bit about like they won't always be in the mailroom. There might be other activities. Is this the type of game where like even once you hit that sort of that sweet spot on what you want to include in like a launch version of the game, do you see this as an opportunity to continue with post-launch content and make even more situations, or even make extensions of this world and its design?
I think we definitely have. I would say we have no shortage of ideas.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be awesome.
We have all kinds of ideas that, due to time constraints and whatnot.
May I ask another nonsense question?
Sure. We love
So,
nonsense.
jumping way ahead of things and assuming way too much. What if this game hits really big and it's the start of an animal in a workplace kind of universe? As a launching point to other things, like maybe you guys have a bakery that's run by possums or something like that.
Look, they're trying to make the animals constructive. They're trying to give them jobs. It's not like some goose who's like going around just like bugging people on the street.
That's a different type of game.
Baking possums, that's a powerful.
If you had a set of possums making apple fritters and the baby possums could jump off to grab ingredients, it's something that could happen.
Great ideas.
I'm just going to write that down.
You can have that one for free.
I remember as soon as we like started working on the game, when we decided to switch over from the other project, we sat down and we were like, okay, we overscoped the other project. How do we like focus this? And we immediately like exploded the scope. And we were like, what if they're flying an airplane or driving a car or something? We've since pulled back.
Yeah, narrowing it down to like, okay, they are at a post office and they're going to be doing these types of tasks within this sort of thematic. Now that we've done that, I think, yeah, we can start to branch out a little bit more.
This is exciting.
I'm like, it leaves me no lack of imagination for like the ecosystem here. Who is sending these messages? Where are they going? For what purpose? And like, I know that that's not necessarily something that needs an answer, but I can't help but think about it. Just like
we don't get an answer.
I mean, I would say largely a lot of what you're sending is what you would expect to see at a post office. Bungalow Basin is a community that has residents living in it that are sending each other birthday gifts and wheels of stinky cheese and fragile, jars of buffalo medicine and dinosaur fossils and, anything that you would send in. Well, okay, maybe not always things that you would send in the mail, but yeah, it's mostly residents talking to each other, and then we have some of the more emergency related stuff, like if there's a blizzard blowing in or a sandstorm, flood, then the job that the KeyWes are doing, where they're running urgent telegraphs and wiring urgent messages, becomes really important.
They become literal heroes.
Exactly. Not all heroes are wearing capes.
Or have wings, or can fly at all.
Exactly. Some are just everyday office employee.
Well, as we're coming up against the end of our time, I would like to ask: where can people find out more about this game, or where would you say they can find out the latest updates on KeyWe?
Definitely the Twitter account at KeyWe Game. Follow us there. We have our website, keywegame.com, where you can sign up for mailing lists. We also, our studio has a Facebook page, facebook.com/StoneWheat. We are Stonewheat and Sons.
Awesome. Do you have anything, Ozzy?
I just want to say I absolutely love this game. This is going to be one of the indie games that I really look forward to in the next year. And I got a wife here at home, and we love these co-op games. So just wait to play it.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for having us. Can't wait to play it.
For sure. Well, Thank you so much for coming on. This has been Stonewheat & Sons, Grant Gessel, Joel Davis. The game has been KeyWe. You can find it on Steam, or you can also wishlist it. The link is in our chat. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for talking about the game. It is absolutely adorable. I can't wait to see more. That is coming in 2021 to Steam for now, with possible expanded plans later. So this has been TJ Denzer, news editor for Shacknews, with my associate editor, Ozzy Mejia. Thank you so much for watching. This is us signing off. Take care, y'all.